The Astros cut the magic number to 2. It's only 2. But there's some not so good news that came out of this slugfest that the Astros were on the wrong side of. We're going to talk about Yordan and the impact of him not being in the lineup possibly the next couple of days. Let's talk about this as the Astros have got to get one win against Seattle to clinch the AL West. Let's go.
Yainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros. We update you joins for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
You know what? They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook, and at Back to the Bullpen on X. Now on Apple Podcast, on iHeartRadio, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Look, I'm always positive. Always Stros, and man, I am positive. I did not think that Yordan hurt himself as bad as he apparently did, because when I went back and watched that in full speed, like just real time, it just looks like a regular slide, pops up, but he's a big dude. He's a big fella. And so we'll get to that probably in the second segment. But, you know, Eric, we got some good stuff to talk about. We got some concerns, but I think things are looking up for us overall.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out and become an everyday or somebody that listens to our podcast Monday through Friday. We're here for you. Brett was here for you a little bit this weekend. I wasn't able to make it, so thank you for that. This episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com. Yeah, that's Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rival. Book today at Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. So I know that the Astros are trying to book themselves into the playoffs. The magic number is down to 2. So the Astros just have to win one game versus the Mariners. That's all they have to do. And you don't want to give them any type of glimpse of hope, because a team gets hope at this time of year. They sometimes can ride that into the postseason. And so you can't let them sweep you. Can't let them get that false hope. You got to go out there, take care of business. It's going to be a little bit harder if Alvarez is out of the lineup, but the good thing is you have your aces lined up, and you have the best pitchers lined up in this series. So that's a good thing for the series. The Astros got him. The offense had, like you highlighted this weekend, the offense has come out. Unfortunately, it looks like the bullpen has shown some leaks, especially in the Sunday's game. But the starting pitching overall has looked pretty decent, or pretty good to decent in this series.
Oh, no, the starting pitching has done their job. I mean, even I know you say Arrighetti is okay. Arrighetti was fine today. I mean, he gave 6 hits and 2 runs. What more do you want out of your starting pitcher? You know, 2 runs is 2 runs. This was 8-9 ball game. This was a game. And what's wild is, well, the Astros were up 4-0. The Mariners were up 5-0, and they lost their lead. And so both games were going back and forth. And I thought there's no way the Astros are going to give this game away. And well, you know, the bullpen happened today. The biggest, look, I'll talk about it later. Okay. I'm going to talk about, I don't have bullpen concerns, but I was surprised about one of the bullpen arms today and what they did and didn't do. But it was a slugfest. They hit the ball all weekend long. And Eric, I did give you props because I told everybody that your son was doing a calf scramble, because I thought that was really cool, man. I think that's like cool stuff, bro. And so I shared that with everybody. It's like, look, Eric wanted to be here, but his son's in a calf scramble. And so it's like, oh, that's cool. So I got your back, big guy. So 12 hits by both teams, Eric. 12 hits. The Astros scored multiple runs in the 8th and 9th inning. I mean, if you said, okay, Brett, the Astros are going to have 12 hits, score 8 runs, score 4 in the 8th and 9th inning combined, do you think the Astros win? Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Bregman and Diaz are going to go are going to have 3 hits. Alvarez is going to go 2 for 2. Now, you don't tell me the part where he goes out. Altuve is going to have, he's going to have a hit. He's going to get a home run, his 20th home run, his third time going 20 stolen bases, 20 home runs in a season, tied with all these other great Astros. I'd have said, you know what? The Astros definitely win that game. It's the Angels. I mean, what is left to the imagination? Well, it's baseball, and it takes 27 outs to get the win, and you have to be leading at the end of that time. So it's just an unfortunate event. You did get 3 of 4. That's better than nothing. You would have loved the sweep because the magic number would have been uno. But either way, 1 or 2, you get one win against Seattle. Dunzo, we got and I'll tell you this, I think the teams in front of the Mariners are going to keep them out of it. I just do. The Tigers are tied for the second wild card spot, dude.
Right.
That's insane. We may face the Tigers, AJ Hinch. And I just posted on TikTok the original press conference of Justin Verlander with AJ Hinch and Jeff Luhnow. Boy, I got some awesome comments on that. That's fun.
Yeah, but in this game, Spencer Arrighetti went 6 innings. He had to leave. He had a little tight calf, but apparently he's going to be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but the bullpen definitely had some concerns in this game. When you have a lead like this, you hope that the bullpen can keep the lead, but Neris gave up 2 runs. Abreu gave up 1 run. And then Hader had one of his worst games recently with the Houston Astros, gave up 4 runs. And unfortunately, sometimes baseball is going to baseball. The other team's going to beat you. And like you said, you would think that this is a game that the Astros had in a bag, but you can't always count your Yoshis before they hatch. Sometimes you gotta nurture them. You gotta make sure the eggs are all there, all in line. And then once those Yoshis are there, eating all the cherries or apples, whatever they eat, then you can go and count your Yoshis. So
what is it? Like, you did this like a year ago. You randomly bring in the like Super Mario vibes. But here's the deal, and I'll go ahead and mention it since you mentioned it. Josh Hader, 21 pitches, not a single swing and miss.
Right.
That's not good. Everything he was throwing was like middle up. I mean, the home run that was hit, I believe he gave up. Let me go back. Did he give up a home run? I think he did.
Hader? No.
Hader. He didn't give up a home run. Well,
no, Abreu did.
Abreu. Okay. It was Abreu. Abreu's pitch that was hit for a home run. Most people aren't going to hit that for a home run. That ball was down out of the zone. I guess maybe it just didn't have enough spin. I haven't seen the spin rate on it. But yeah, man, Hader, 21 pitches, no swings and misses. That's just not good. I mean, because but the bullpen just looked bad. The bullpen didn't support him. Look, the offense tried. They made a valiant effort at the end. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah, 2 walks by Josh Hader, 3 hits allowed, 4 earned runs, no strikeouts in this game. And sometimes, like I said, baseball is going to baseball. The offense tried to make a little comeback. We have Tucker. He's been looking a lot better. He had 2 walks today. And you saw him with a 4-for-4 night on Saturday. And you see him starting to produce offensively. You see him starting to get some speed on the bases. You see him becoming the player that Kyle Tucker is supposed to be. But there are some concerns on this team. And it's the bullpen at times. It's the offense at times. But one thing you can't say is the starting pitching outside of Justin Verlander. Outside of Justin Verlander, but he's even admitting that maybe he rushed back too soon, or maybe he was just trying to come back and be an asset. But he's even questioning whether he's going to be on the postseason roster. So we'll go and continue this conversation in a little bit. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out.
This episode of Locked On Astros is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com, yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today at Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. make sure that you understand that you can explore any U.S. city. We know that secretly you've been thinking about visiting New York or Boston or L.A. or Chicago or Detroit possibly. And if you do, maybe you can check out, well, not say maybe, go check out booking.com, bed and breakfast, hotels, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more. You can find your perfect stay even during the postseason. That's right. With booking.com's wide variety of choices across the U.S., you can go incognito to all your baseball rival cities. Booking.com delivers exactly the right U.S. stay for you, and it can help you book the stay that's close to your home teams or rival stadium, no matter what the team, no matter who you're rooting for. Become a fan of any city, from hotels to overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball's rival city. Booking.com, booking.yeah. And this episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. That's right. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats. Now, I don't know if you got any hunches during the Texans game, because the only hunch I had was hopefully, well, I know this game ends because that game was brutal. Look, view live play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You don't have to go to other sites. You can go right there at FanDuel.com site and get this. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's a $5 bet. You'll get $200 in bonus bets. Where? At FanDuel.com, America's #1 sports book.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Go and check out Michael Connor. He does a great job with the Locked On Astros podcast as well. And go and check us out on your Amazon Fire TV stick as well if you want to see Brett and I on your big screen TV. I'm sure we look handsome as ever. So I know that the Astros have been looking a lot better recently, but this team will look a lot different without number 44 out there. And so I didn't see the actual injury. I've been out and about today with my kids, but he did suffer a knee injury, a knee contusion in this game. And apparently he's reported that he's not feeling great. So go and put that quote up there.
Yeah. So first of all, Joe Espada did say this. We just got to take care of business. Yordan is not great. That's not what we want right now. But we just got to get ready for Monday. This is what he said. Not what I wanted to see when I ran out there. It's pretty sore. Just when he slid, his weight on his knee, and just the way it handled. Hopefully, we get some good news here. The bottom line is this: if you go watch the condensed game, and watch when Yordan slides into second, like in real speed, Eric, it doesn't look like he does anything wrong. But then when you watch a replay of it, and if you slow it down, the way he lands, it's almost like instead of a smooth slide, it's almost like he hit the ground and all his weight went down on his knee. That like the knee that was bent on the dirt. Okay. That's what hit. And he bounced on it. So I think all his weight went on it. They say it's a contusion, which means it's a bruise. So we don't know what this means. They're going to get imaging. They don't they're not jumping the gun saying it's the worst case scenario, but they are concerned about the seriousness of it. I think, look, best case scenario, he's out for maybe one series, or maybe another scenario could be maybe he's out until the playoffs. Like he's out like the next 7 days, right? They just put him on I don't know if they can put him on the IL retroactive. You can't retroactive after this date, before this date. But I think, Eric, it has the potential to be serious, but we don't know anything. It just the fact that he was sore. He tried to walk on it. He tried to he bent down, checked his mobility, but he was holding the outside of his knee that he slid on. So it just wasn't good. And when he left, you're like, oh crap, this can't be, because last night I was just talking about how Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez, how I was cool with Joe Espada not splitting them up, doing left, right, left.
Right.
And he made the case. I want these two lefties because they're the best hitters against left-handed pitchers in the league. And I'm like, yes, and got so pumped about that. Then today happens, and I'm like, OS.
So I've got the answer to this situation. The Astros just need to win tomorrow. Just go and clinch it. So you can go ahead and rest Alvarez for maybe not the rest of the year, but he needs some more at bats. But go ahead and rest him for the rest of the Mariner series. So if Alvarez does not play tomorrow, the Astros get the win. Then go ahead and rest him for a few days. Don't try to rush him back in the lineup. Just give him some rest. Remember that he had a arthroscopic surgery on both knees, August of 2020. So he's been doing pretty good actually on those knees since that time. He's fouled some balls off, had to miss a game here or there, but for the most part, he's been pretty good with the knees. So this is somebody that dealt with a lot of knee issues early in his career. So let's not rush this guy back because the Astros need this guy in the playoffs. We've seen what he did against the Mariners, against Robbie Ray in playoffs, and against other teams in the playoffs. So let's just go ahead and take our time with this, and hopefully whoever the Astros have left in the Astros lineup, they can go and score enough runs against the Mariners. But the Mariners have been doing a little bit more winning recently, but they did lose today. So thankfully the Astros, like we talked about earlier, are 2 games behind them, and they only need a combination of Astros win and a Mariner loss. That's why the magic number will go down to 0 if the Astros win any of these games. Don't give them any momentum. Don't let them sweep you. Just take care of business tomorrow. That way you can start resting your players, start figuring out your rotation. Right now, it's pretty much lined up where your top guys are going to be ready for the playoffs as is, but just go ahead and rest some of your guys, rest some of your bullpen arms. Josh Hader may be dealing with a little bit of fatigue because remember that in the past he has not pitched multiple innings. We've had him do that a little bit more this year. Maybe he's hit a little wall. So I'm not making any excuses for him, but there's this team needs to just cool it down. They've been kind of going full throttle for so long to play catch up. Now they have a chance to just slow down and go cruising.
Well, yes and no. I mean, yeah, they do. Someone's like, well, are they going to sit their starters? I'm like, who are they going to put in place of their starters? I mean, are you going to play Greg Kessinger every game? Are you going to play Cesar Salazar every game? I mean, you're probably not going to do that.
Alternate.
Yeah, you have some off days here and there, but yeah, they're definitely going to have a lot of heavy-handed precaution with Yordan Alvarez. And someone said, well, if they would have had x-rays and got negatives, they would have said something. Well, I believe they said they're going to do imaging tomorrow. I think maybe if they're swelling, I think you wait till like the swelling goes down, let them rest it. But you probably won't see him tomorrow, probably won't see him Tuesday, and probably won't see him Wednesday. So the Astros go out there without Yordan. I think they can do it. Look, Yainer Diaz today got his 50th multi-hit game. He got a 6 leading. He's top 10 and like 3 hit games this year. And so, Yainer Diaz is starting to hit the ball really well. Bregman's seeing the ball really well. And so everybody else in the lineup seems to be stepping up, doing their job. And the thing is, you just got to give what you got to take what the Mariners give you, because we know that they do have some solid pitching. We do only know one of the pitchers right now, Bryce Miller. They do not have a Tuesday or Wednesday starter, but of course we do know that it is Brown, Valdez, and Kikuchi, which means obviously Verlander will go when we go to Cleveland, and hopefully he has a good start. But I think the start, Eric, that meant the most to him was the one he just had, and he was hoping for better results, and that's where. And, I was saying all along, there's no way they don't put this guy in the rotation. But now when he comes out and doesn't do well and he says, look, things aren't well, like I'm not there. And He did say this is the toughest it's been this late in the season for him. and he said he can't figure out what it is. So he is as baffled as anybody else is. So
Yeah, we'll go and continue this conversation. And I know a lot of people in chat are talking about, but if you sit people, then you won't be able to catch the Guardians. Are the Astros still able to catch Guardians? We'll talk about that next.
hey, y'all, thank you all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. Myself and Eric play. It's a fun, it's a blast. It's not you against other people. It's you basically against the numbers. You pick more or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. The 1 yard Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win in Prize Picks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. You still have time to do that. If you want to play alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sugar Shane O'Malley, you can do that. Find them in the community picks as well. Prize Picks also has flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. You have all kinds of player stat types. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 off. $50 instantly when you play $5. That's Locked On MLB on Prize Picks. $50 instantly with your $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and check us out on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. And if I'm doing my math correctly, which I believe I am, the Guardians have 5 games left. The Astros have 6 games left. So mathematically, the Astros still have a chance to at least tie the Guardians. So they can technically reach 91 wins, but the Guardians have to lose out. So mathematically, there's a chance. So you could sweep the Guardians. You have to count on the Guardians losing the other 2 games, but I just don't see it happening. The Guardians are a pretty good team, and nobody's going to catch them in the Central, so they're not worrying about it. They are already cruising. And so they're not worrying about trying. They know that it's going to be hard for anybody to catch them, namely the Astros. And so I don't know how legitimate a chance the Astros have. It's going to take a miracle.
I don't think they do. I don't even know. I mean, to me, no. I mean, I think they were mathematically almost out of it this last week, pretty much. I mean, I know they've been winning more than not, but I just don't see it. Cleveland already has 90 wins. Like you said, the Astros would have to win 5 of the next 6, and then Cleveland would have to, and then if they tie, what is the series between Cleveland and
I'll look
the
it up
Astros
real quick
here, and that right there will tell you who owns the tiebreaker. Let's see. They've played 3 games. Okay, they played 3 games, and did Houston win 2 of those 3?
The Astros, yes. The Astros are 2-1 against them this year. So the Astros technically have the tiebreaker.
So
they have outscored them 20-14.
I don't know. Look, Yordan Alvarez he may not be playing all these games.
There's a chance. There's a chance, Brett. Just give people. Come on, be positive for once. Give people a chance.
Hold on. I'm so positive that I get slammed for being positive. I get told by like David, like, come on, man, you need to stop, seeing things the way that you gotta start seeing the way I do. Yordan better look. Hey, David, Yordan will be ready for October, dude. Okay. You look, David, this is your goal this week. I need you to post 5 positive comments before you post 1 negative comment each show you come to. Okay. 5 positive before you post a negative. And if you don't do that, David, I'm going to put you in timeout.
Yeah. So basically, if I told you this a few shows ago, but if you're not following the Chicago White Sox right now, their Twitter handle, it is
Oh, they're
awesome. Like it's great. Like
it is great.
today's was like a exit ramp. So it's like the final, the final score, or literally anything else, and it has this car swerving to exit the ramp real quick.
There was one the day before, it said, check MLB.com for score.
Yes. So
That was-
when when you've tied the worst record for the most losses in the season, there's not much else to say. So the White Sox Twitter at least is winning at something. And so, like I said 3 or 4 shows ago, whoever this is needs to get a raise, because they're getting praises not just from the like me, but people across baseball are noticing it. And it's for the White Sox team that is not very good. They needed something to root for. So I'm not saying their fans are rooting for their team to lose, but at this
Well,
point, it's like, what are you going to do?
called the Heisman effect, because if Eric Heisman says he needs a raise, he'll probably get a raise. They're
Okay.
like, oh, well, sir. Oh, sir. Mr. CFO goes, oh, Eric Heisman said he needs a raise. And then I know H. John Wilhouse said something in a tweet, but Eric said it live on the air. So, boom.
Yes, for
Got to
sure.
raise. Got to raise White Sox social media guy. But look, the bullpen concerns,
Right.
Eric. You need Hector Neris to be locked down. You can't have Hector Neris leaving stuff out over the plate. Look, I will say this, because I don't have the pictures to show it, but it was hilarious. This was Hispanic Heritage Weekend. I don't know if you noticed, Hector Neris got in every picture for every country. So every flag, the Dominican flag, the Venezuelan flag, the Puerto Rican flag, Hector Neris, he was a Pan American. He was international, man. It was so funny. He was in everybody's, like, someone was like, what country is he actually from? he was in the Honduras flag. It was great. I love Hector Neris, and I really hope he has success, because his kind of moxie, his kind of just what he brings to the table, as far as emotion, he's very cutthroat. And hey, Hector Neris, the Mariners, we've got a history.
Right.
Is Hector Neris going to keep it clean? Is he gonna keep the baseball in the zone? Is it gonna stray away from the plate? I'm just saying, this is going to be a playoff atmosphere. Look, I'm going tomorrow night. I'm going to be there tomorrow night, because the Astros are going to what? They're going to clinch, boys and girls. So I want to be there when they're popping bottles. Okay. But Hector Neris, the Mariners, I love it. It's a reunion. Reunited, and it feels so good. That's what we should sing. That's what they should
Here's
sing.
the hook.
Hey, whenever Hector comes out on the mound, I've got to get to somebody who plays it, to the person who plays the music, and say, you need to play Reunited whenever Hector Neris comes out on the mound. That would be perfect.
All right. SFA Powerhouse asked a question about Spencer Arrighetti. I did address this earlier in the show, but Channel Room reported that Arrighetti said he felt some cramping in his calf during the 6th inning and alerted the coaching staff. Joe Espada makes the call to shut him down. So he said he's likely going to be okay. This was precautionary, but it was a low pitch count to pull him, but at 78 pitches. But at that point, he thought that he had his high leverage relievers. He thought he had the guys he can go out there and trust, but the bullpen did let him down there. So Arrighetti should be A-okay for the postseason, whatever role the Astros decide to put him in, whether it's a starter, if you go ahead and bypass Justin Verlander at this point. But so there's nothing that should alarm anybody, but he had another good start, 6 strikeouts, 6 shutout innings, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 6, no walks in this game. That's what I was trying to say. But his ERA on the season, 4.61, but that is probably he's a much better pitcher than that 4.61 ERA because of his bad, atrocious start. And so Tucker also said that he's okay to play right field for the rest of the season, or maybe at least play for the rest of the season. I don't know if he meant right field or not, but he wants to play, no days off. He wants to play for the rest of the season. So it's good to see Tucker ready to geared up and ready to play.
Yeah, that's great news. Kyle Tucker has been hitting the cover off the ball. He looks good. He looks comfortable at the plate, and I think he's ready to go. These guys are zeroing in on what is important. They get the one win tomorrow night, then their focus basically goes to October. You take these next 5 games after Monday's game, and you just work on locking in. You work on, because you know their pitchers, because the Mariners will still have some life depending on what happens in front of them. So they've still got something to play for. But who knows? Maybe they try a little too hard, it backfires on them. But we've got to watch the usual suspects, the guys that are tough against us, because they do have some guys in their lineup that just hit Astros pitching really well. Like you mentioned, we have our aces going. We have our top pitchers going. So I'm very comfortable with Hunter Brown, Diesel getting things done on Monday night. And it's the last night they're wearing the Space City jerseys. They're going to retire the City Connect Space jersey. They're going to get new City Connect next year. And so I'll be sporting my Space City, my new Yainer Diaz Space City jersey tomorrow night.
And I'm sure you mentioned this, but I want to send props out to all the listeners, all the non-listeners. Thank you for giving Justin Verlander a big applause. That might have been his last game with the Houston Astros. Yes, he didn't pitch great, but this is a great way for him to, if this is his last game with the Houston Astros, at least he left on a positive note. You remembered him for what he's done with the Astros, not just what he did for us recently. So hopefully the Astros take care of business tomorrow. If they do, I will cut in with a very short live reaction podcast. Brett will do one after he returns from the game. But other than that, Brett will do a solo show. I've got an organic chemistry test I'm studying for on Tuesday. I'm not excited for that, but I will do a short live reaction show for you listeners out there. So guys, thank you for making us your first listen every day. Go and subscribe to us. Go and help us get to 20,000. And we will see you tomorrow. And go Astros.
Go Astros.